Why does it seem like some people get everything that they want? It's not because they're lucky, it's because they ask for it and they're not sorry about it. I teach at Columbia University and I host the iHeartMedia podcast called Leading by Example Executives Making an Impact. And I have talked to thousands of successful leaders to understand how they got that amazing opportunity, that high paying job that almost seemed too good to be true. And I can tell you, they all have one thing in common. In this video, I'm going to lay out what they do and how you can turn any no into a yes by simply adjusting your communications and your approach. And at the end of this video, you're going to have this 4 smart strategies on how to ask for what you want, do it with clarity, and do it with confidence. Because right now, how often do you look around the room and you go, why does that person seem to get everything that they want? Or why are they always so lucky? Well, let me tell you right now, luck has very little to do with it. It is all about the preparation that they put in and the execution that follows. As an Emmy Award-winning journalist and after teaching over 2 million people how to communicate with confidence, I have found that if you want something, you have to go after it. And if you are told no, don't take it as case closed. Take it as a redirect. So, here's a first tip on how you can ask for what you want with confidence. Focus on your approach. On a piece of paper, I want you to draw 2 columns. The column on the left is column 1, and I want you to write out clearly what your ask is. Whether it is a raise, a promotion, to get on a project, propose a project, to get on a deal. Whatever it is, I want you to write it down on the left-hand column. Then, in column 2, which is on the right-hand side, I want you to answer 2 questions. Who are you talking to, and how is it going to benefit them? That's it. This is the simple pre-work exercise that's going to make your ask utterly irresistible because the value is already going to be embedded in your ask because you prepared. Because let's talk about why we sometimes might get told no. The problem a lot of people face when they ask for what they want is they go into the conversation and this mentality of why they want something, why they're excited about something. But if you're asking for something, I want you to remember that you are effectively talking to another person. And in order for you to speak their language, you have to be able to talk about the things that they care about, because that is how you can capture their attention and your message will resonate with them. In fact, research from Carnegie Mellon, specifically Professor Linda Bucock, who literally wrote the book on women and negotiation, she found that when women framed their requests in terms of benefits to the organization rather than personal gain, they faced less resistance and they achieved better results. So did you hear that? They didn't change what they asked. They changed the way they framed it. And that reframe made all the difference whether they got that yes or the no. And here's a second tip. Think about your timing. One of the most underrated considerations is social intelligence when approaching someone and asking for something. Now, this doesn't mean you have to be this mind reader, but you do have to consider context and what is going on in this period of time. And the reason why this is important is because context, such as deadlines, major projects, sentiments, can influence whether someone is in the headspace to give you that yes right now. Your idea isn't a bad idea. It's probably a brilliant idea. But a brilliant idea placed in bad timing makes it a non-negotiable. So if you're going to ask for something, make sure you're increasing your chances. Now, how do you actually gauge timing? Well, I'm going to give you 2 questions that you want to always ask. What is this person I'm talking to focused on right now, not last month, not in general, right now? And are they in the middle of a high stakes deadline? In fact, are they navigating a difficult conversation with their own boss? Are they in a season of change when projects are migrating to the next big task? The idea is you want to answer these questions so you get a good understanding that is going to inform how you shape your ask. Here's another question. Is there a natural opening where you might engage in a conversation with this person that might make sense for you to then ask? For example, maybe you have a performance review coming up, a one-on-one meeting. Maybe you did something amazing and you have so much credibility working for you in your favor right now, and that is a moment. So these are moments where people are already in a reflective, forward thinking, and a positive mood. And that is actually when you want to capture by asking for something in that moment. Research from the Journal of Experimental Social Psychology found that people are significantly more likely to get the yes when the environment is positive or people are in an emotional state where they're open to it. It's actually called incidental effect. And it's where someone's mood is actually completely unrelated to your ask, but it does directly influence whether you get that yes. So this is where I want to share a personal story. Back when I was a journalist working in New York, I had this desire to pitch and launch my own business show on the television network that I was working at. This was something that I was very passionate about, and I really wanted to do business news. Well, guess what? I asked for it. I went up to my boss and I proposed this amazing project idea I had. Guess what happened? I did not get it. I was told no and I was devastated. But instead of dwelling, I looked at it as a learning. And what I realized was my idea wasn't actually a bad idea. I made a very strong case for it, but I didn't think about what? Timing. I realized that I made this ask in a period of time where my boss was knee deep in what we call media rating seasons, where he couldn't think about anything else except making sure that everything that was happening now was working the way it should. So do you see? He wasn't in the right headspace. This experience taught me that our ideas often aren't bad ideas, but optimal timing can make the difference between getting that yes or getting that no, which goes into my third point, your delivery. Now that you have determined the best timing and you know your manager or your stakeholders are in the optimal mindset to appreciate your ask, the way you start off the conversation is key. Right now, most people start off by talking about why they want something. But because you're smart, I want you to follow this three-part framework. And this is how you would want to structure your ask. Start with why now, align your objectives, and then answer why you. You start off your ask by answering the question, why are you asking for this right now? What's timely about it? Why is it something that must be done right now? And why is it urgent? If you can answer that question, the urgency will help guide your stakeholders to go, yes, I can see the value behind it and we have to get on board. Next is you want to align your objectives. This means answering questions like, how much money is it going to cost? How much time is it going to take? What is the return on investment if we do this thing? Because I guarantee you, 99% of the time when we ask for something big, there is going to be a cost associated with it. And if you can do that pre-work ahead of time and give at least a general sense of what your answer might be, it reduces the chances of them saying no because you've already aligned objectives. And finally, answer why you. This is where you say why you're excited about this. What expertise do you bring to this project and why you are the right fit? Now, I guarantee if you follow this 3-step framework, it will make your ask so much more clear, which goes into my fourth point, which is I believe the most important part of asking for what you want is actually the follow-up. Now, for some of us, following up can make us feel uneasy because we don't want to be seen as pushy. We might assume, I asked one time, that's enough. Or if I bring it up, we're going to bother them. This is a mindset that must be eliminated because following up is always a part of the ask. Now, I want you to think about it as following up is a must do, not a nice to do. But you want to approach it with what I call tact. Here's an example. When you're following up because you haven't heard back from your initial ask, instead of just saying, hey, I want to follow up, instead, I want you to do this. I wanted to follow up with you because since our last conversation, I looked into this a little bit more, and here's some new information on why this is a direction we should go. Take a look. Did you catch that? In my follow up, I added a new piece of information. That strategic placement suddenly made my follow up now sound timely. It made it sound fresh and new. That is a smart way to follow up, and it doesn't appear pushy. By the way, do you remember my story earlier where I talked about that business show idea that I pitched to my boss and I basically got that no? Well, it was all because the timing wasn't right. But guess what? I didn't take that initial no as case closed. I knew it was a good idea, just like you have a good idea. But I knew that following up was part of the process. So that's exactly what I did. I followed up with my boss by making a strong case of why this was something that needed to happen now. And in my follow up, I even attached an analysis that I put together of why we should do it because there was no other business show in the market we were working in, and we had to jump on this opportunity. I presented something new when I followed up. And by the way, that in and of itself made it feel timely. Guess what happened? After a few weeks of discussion, I eventually did launch my own business show. This is all to say that if you want something, you gotta go after it. And if you don't get that initial answer that you want, you gotta follow up because sometimes it is that follow up that can close the deal. So here's my question for you. If you want something because you care about it and you have this conviction behind it, and because you know it can completely transform your life, transform the opportunities you get, you gotta go after it. Never take no as case closed. Always think about what does the person I'm speaking with, what do they care about? Consider your timing, have a strong framework, and follow up with confidence and tact. I guarantee the most successful people aren't successful because they're lucky. It's because they're lucky and they ask for what they want. They never take no as the answer. And now, because of this video, you know exactly what to do and how to do it. So I want to hear from you. Of the tips that I shared today, which one resonates with you the most? Was it the follow-up? Was it the framework? Let me know by commenting below. And by the way, I also built a powerful workbook for you, and it's completely free. It's my Confident Communication Mindset Workbook, where I break down these concepts in more detail. All you got to do is comment confident below, and I will send you the link to download this workbook immediately. I'm planning a lot more new episodes, so if you like this, be sure to subscribe, like it, and share it. And again, don't miss a new episode because it's gonna drop again soon. With that, I'll see you soon.